Well, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm live on here and it's not 10 a.m. in the morning, that must mean that something has happened. Yep. And you're damn straight that I was lying on a physio table getting my knee sorted when I get a little notification. I'm like, Ornstein, what? Well, I'm happy that United have submitted a 70 million bid for Mbeumo. We'll run through the news, what the breakdown is, how much is going up front, etc., the add-ons. I mean, if they don't accept this, then it's game over. I mean, they're going to accept this, right? They're going to accept this. I'm going to run through the story. 65 plus 5. Yeah, it's 65 plus 5. It's a breaking one. You can let me know what you think in the comments. Look, there are positives to this. There are negatives to this. I'll run through it all in this show. Let's get into it. And JC, you're down there just going, slapping 50 on the table, a bit like United have walked in and probably just gently pushed a 70 mil bid on the table. How you doing, man? Thank you so much. And Toby, you're gifting 10 as well. It should be a cracking show because it's been a bit, let's be honest, it's been a bit bitty these last few weeks, and that's me being really polite about it. David Ornstein's confirmed it here. The third bid has gone in. We didn't know when it was going to go in, how much it was going to be for. We've got confirmation here now. Exclusive, Manchester United make an improved bid to sign Bryan Mbeumo for Brentford. The new offer is worth 65 million fixed plus 5 mil in add-ons. United are awaiting Brentford and their response, which is going to be yes, and as they work to close the deal for him. Now, it very well might be that Mbeumo's on the plane for the pre-season tour, which is ultimately the date that look, I'm not moving the goalposts here, people. I was saying, look, this Monday just gone was when it started to affect the plans. This game against Leeds isn't exactly, it's an extra part of our pre-season, but it's not the tour. Being on the plane for that tour is where it matters. Akash, you're gifting 50 as well. Come on, people. The community. Everyone's sitting there, been waiting patiently. And now they're coming out swinging 1-2. And look, seriously, you're all welcome, by the way, for the fact that I booked physio at 2 p.m. this afternoon. And then the bid goes in at what? 2:10. You might say that's coincidence. I'd say it's absolutely not coincidence. Let's run through the actual full story itself, see if there's any more info from David Ornstein. The bid, and by the way, that's the price that's, I think, kind of clearly been given to United all summer, really, when it comes to Mbeumo, right? Let's read it, what it says. United have stepped up their efforts. The latest proposal is worth 65 million up front. Doesn't actually mean you pay 65 million in cash up front, but 65 million guaranteed and 5 million in add-ons waiting a response. United saw the initial proposal, 55 in total, then 62.5, also rejected. They've been aiming for a figure. Talks have continued. Nothing else really in there. Basically, the headline of the story is the story. 70 mil bid has gone in. 65 plus 5. Let me know what you think in the chat. Right? I'm going to go down here and read some of your comments. Jamaican Life, we need this done ASAP. Let's put the money out there. Someone there. Adama, you're saying finally. Augustus sending a super chat. Saying, let's go. Love the show, Sam. Do you think this bid will be the last? Unequivocally, this bid will be the last. Without a shadow of a doubt. If this bid isn't accepted, which it will be, then you can't do anything else. If Brentford go, oh, actually, United, funny you mentioned 70 million now. Actually, it's 75 million now. Yeah, kind of change our mind. Brentford won't do that. Could this be a direct consequence? You saw my lunchtime video. Like I said, I feel sorry for Amrim because Amrim's caught between like a rock and a hard place. Amrim's caught in a club that's trying to get rid of United tax. Now, this is what I mean when there's pros and cons to this deal. The pros, let's focus on them first, okay? Before I talk about negatives of signing a top quality, Premier League proven, 20-goal a season, fingers crossed, was last season anyway, goal scorer. Mbeumo and Cunha, wow. That is such an upgrade. That is such a ridiculous upgrade. Premier League proven, experienced men, leaders in a team full of meek children, effectively. From a footballing perspective, and this is the thing that annoys me so much, really, is how much around the game that we have to sort of absorb as fans now, whether it's the PSR and the deals and accounting and all this and that. Just from go back to being a kid. Go back to being a kid. Signing Mbeumo's class. That's 35 goals that you signed from the Premier League last season. 70 million. Jeez, I didn't think United were going to go that big on an individual. I didn't think we were going to go 62.5 on Cunha. Someone down there, Henry, you're saying finally we get him. Siraj saying I think United know Vissa and Newcastle, and maybe that was the sort of the fire that got lit under United's arse. It may well have been that. If it's not that, it's a coincidence that United's third bid of 70 million goes in a couple of hours after we find out that Newcastle are going aggressively after Vissa. That could well be a coincidence, right? But it may well be a reaction. I mean, it's just Cunha and Mbeumo on the plane for the full pre-season. Yes, please. Yes, please. Someone down there saying, no way Brentford reject this now. I'd be amazed if Brentford were to reject this now. Let's see what anything else is being said. Simon Stone from the BBC just reiterating what David Ornstein is saying. This is a live show. You know what happens in live shows. Live and direct. Things can happen. Things can be said. Things can be reported. As per David Ornstein, United have made a third bid for him that could be worth up to 70 mil. Offer is understood to be 65 with an additional 5. Brentford are yet to discuss the offer. You know what that is going to be. Now, Victor, there is something that I agree with down there, and that's what I mean, right? This is a double-edged sword. The way that the length of time that this has gone on for, this is a bit of a double-edged sword. The pros definitely outweigh the cons, as far as we're concerned as fans, right? We've got Mbeumo in, we've got Cunha in, great, that's exciting, that's good. But on the flip side, Manchester United with this Mbeumo deal, right? Which, look, you could say, Sam, don't tempt fate, don't jinx it. But dudes, like, we're just putting the 70 mil bid that they've been asking for. That's been the price the whole way through. It's going to get accepted. All right? It's going to get accepted. Unless somehow Newcastle come in. I mean, they could technically try and put in a nuts offer for Vissa so that Brentford don't want to say. You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. But United have been trying to avoid the United tax. And this deal for Mbeumo has been a failure to do that. Now, I'm glad they've done that from a footballing perspective, because I see Mbeumo and Cunha, I can understand the logic, I can see the logic, I can see the strategy, I can see the better players for tick, 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 tick. But from the perspective of changing how United are perceived, this won't do that. So it's a failure in that sense. And that's the difficulties of the transfer window. United tried to shift that a little bit. They haven't been able to do that. Dean, thank you for gifting 5 memberships, dude. Andy is saying, why 70 mil? Because 70 mil was the price that Brentford wanted. And now that the window's gone on, I think we can all agree, 70 million for Bryan Mbeumo it's a fair market value. That's what it is. It's a fair market value. Do I think Bryan Mbeumo's worth 70 mil? Do I think Elanga's worth 55 mil? Do I think João Pedro's worth 60 mil? Inflated prices everywhere. That is modern football. That is Premier League football. Well, yeah, the Premier League is effectively a Super League now. Yeah, JC, you're saying book another physio or a City break to get this one over the line. Literally sitting there on the table, getting a knee, and then my watch pinged. I was like, oh, why is Ronnie sending me a link to David Ornstein? Probably means something big. Get the phone out, boom, 70 mil bid. I was like, so I'm there again, getting creamed up on my knee. All right, don't get weird. Anyway, so you're welcome. So the only reason this bid's gone in is because I was having physio. Someone down there saying it's market value. Mwad saying this will most likely affect other transfers this window. Now other clubs we want to buy from will demand ridiculous prices. That's the situation United were in with this Mbeumo deal before this third bid went in, was like, whichever way you look, there's compromises. There's going to be a negative. So if United sat firm with Mbeumo, we're not going above 62.5. That's it. That's our final bid. Then sure, the United tax wouldn't have been there, but neither would the player that you wanted to sign, and then you spent X amount of weeks going after a player that you don't sign. It's difficult, man. It's difficult. Other clubs seem to be better at it because the other clubs aren't crap like United. Other clubs aren't coming off the back of a season where we're 15th and we've lost the Europa League final. All right, that's the position that we're going into this window. when Liverpool come to the table right now, they come with power, strength, and authority after what happened last season. When United come to the table, we're like, oh yeah, we used to be good, don't we? And we don't have power at the negotiation table. Now that comes back. That will come back. It's just not there yet. And honestly, like, I know 70 million is over what United wanted to pay. But I'll be totally honest. Given what else has happened this summer, I really don't think you can point and laugh at United and say, ha, United have been rinsed there. Oh my God, United have overpaid massively for Mbeumo. I look at that and go, I mean, yeah, kind of fair enough. If I was Brentford, I would want my club to do the exact same. Funnily enough, that's the exact price that my mate Adam told me that he wanted for him. And this a few weeks ago, and I was like, 70 mil, my ass. Well, 70 mil, there you go. Here we go soon. Someone just says down there, maybe we'll get on the show. What do you think about this, right? Let's quickly pull this up. Because it could be a coincidence. I'm not sure it is. 4 hours ago, this was. If you're new in town, welcome to United People's TV, by the way. Hope you're having a good time. Make sure you subscribe. Join the gang. This was 4 hours ago. And then the bid goes in. It could be coincidence. Or it could be United going, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I get that one right? I know that this isn't a perfect... the way that this has gone down is not perfect. If we were paying 70 million now, and this is what I think is going to be after the enjoyment and the buzz and the dopamine is settled, the main feeling among fans is going to be, well, if you're going to pay 70 mil on the 17th of July, why are you not just going to pay 70 mil on the 17th of June? Why are you not just going to do that a month earlier? Frustration. I can understand that. And that's where United have, in a sense, lost in this transfer. But ultimately, we've won. I think so. Famous last words and all that. But I, for the life of me, cannot see how Bryan Mbeumo joins Manchester United and just turns into like a fraction of the player that he was at Brentford. Like we spent big on players before, man. We spent big on Haaland. We spent big on Anthony. Spent big on Casemiro, and we got Casemiro for a season. But then his age caught up with him. We spent big on Anthony, twice as much as we wanted to, but he just never lived up to the potential. And neither has Haaland. He got 16 goals in his first season, but it was hit and miss. He didn't score in the league until Villa. But Mbeumo, Cunha, like, they're two Premier League proven goal scorers, and there's a lot of people that that wanted that to be the strategy of United, and I agree with it. Like we've had so many bloody examples of just spending big from effectively prospects and talents that just haven't quite worked out. How about you just stick close to home? You probably pay a little bit of a premium, but you sign players who are ready-made for the Premier League. Someone down there saying I'm staying positive with Mbeumo. Well, of course you're staying positive with Mbeumo. That's a cracking signing. And Mbeumo would get into most top teams. What team wouldn't he get in the league? I suppose he wouldn't get in Liverpool because Salah's there. Spurs have just signed Kudus, so they've got no space for him. Arsenal got Saka. He's good enough to play in those teams. Maybe he wouldn't exactly get into the starting 11. Right, let's see what else is being said. Yeah, and I completely agree with this from Ben Jacobs, by the way. This is it. There is absolutely no way. There is no way that this leads to another bid. There's no way that this leads to, 70 mil. How about 75 now, lads? Right. Game, set, and match. Now, we fly to... I'm going to put this as a poll. This will be a fun poll. Do you think Mbeumo flies to USA with the team on Tuesday? Right? Because that's when it happens. That's when it happens. Flies on Tuesday. I mean, Mbeumo's been sitting there listening to Glory, Glory, Man United and been watching all the documentaries. Probably been watching United People's TV. Little deep dives. Oh, go on in. Watch a bit of that. Probably didn't. Should have done. Do you think he'll be on that plane? because that was the hard deadline. I think the Leeds game and the Fiorentina game have top and tailed the preseason as extra games, effectively for fitness purposes. Whereas the preseason tour, where you fly out with the whole team, with the manager, and you go and you do your stuff, go and do your sort of commercial stuff as well. That's the important one. Let me see what you're saying in the poll. A couple of super chats here. Let me read these out. Adele saying, do you think we will get it this time? Absolutely. I think it's done. If we get Bryan Mbeumo deal tonight, I'm gifting 20 memberships. You've heard it here first. Hakan saying 70 mil for better payment terms. Well, 65 mil up front. There's no sort of indication at this time. There's no indication as to whether or not that's going to be over 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But I don't really care. I don't want to speak about that. That's for the club to decide. Right, let me see what you're saying down here. Is AFCON a worry? Wait, is AFCON this year? Was it January? Is that when AFCON is? It's somewhere around January time, isn't it? It's really annoying that they don't do AFCON in the summer. Surely they should. Let me read a few of your comments out here. In fairness, because he's been so professional, he's basically come back and carried on with training. Yeah, I don't think anybody can really say a bad word against what Mbeumo's done in this whole situation. Don't think there's any Brentford fan that would sort of resent him. You know, I suppose in a different story is the Gyökeres one at Sporting. And that got ugly real quick. Real quick. Oh, you've walked out on a deal. You've broken your promises, this and that. Refusing to train. And Mbeumo just chilled, went to the F1, came to training. Hello. I want to join United. I'll sit and wait for the deal to get agreed. Halftime Oranges is saying if Elanga, Madueke and Kudus were 52 to 55 mil up front, then 65 for Mbeumo is brilliant business. Taken a while, but ultimately good work. I think if you're looking at what's been lost, that could have been gained through quicker negotiations, you've got 1 week of pre-season testing and training last week. You probably missed about 2 weeks worth of being at Carrington. That's not the end of the world because you've got the pre-season. It would have been nice, but not essential. Mate, is it next year AFCON's in the summer? I didn't know. Siegs, you're saying I predicted it. Here we go by Tuesday. Let's find out. I'm excited about it. Someone down there saying, watch Brentford reject the bid. Hey, look. I've never been wrong in my entire life. I've been wrong plenty of times. I just don't see how that bid there is rejected. 70 mil. 26. That's how old he is. And people keep going down there about, Brentford is going to be a free agent next summer. I'll say one more time. Brentford had the option to extend Mbeumo's contract by 1 more year. He wasn't going to be a free agent next summer. They effectively had 2 years left on his contract. So they were calm about it. That's why they sat there, dug their heels in, and all the evidence. And it may well have been that, you know. I kind of think it was. Can you let me know? Let me know in the chat. Do you think this was the thing that forced United's hand for that third bid? Something changed. Everything that we're hearing about United's being firm, and that's what my video was about this morning. I was saying Ratcliffe getting involved and how different football transfers are to other business deals and the indirect things that can affect it. And I felt sorry for Amram because he's the head coach of a club which is trying to get rid of the United tax. Quite a few of you down there think it probably affected it. I reckon it influenced it, man. Because I've said it time and time again. There was no way that Brentford were losing their manager, their 2 best players, and I think their captain, all in the same summer where they get investment from outside who is ambitious to move forward. Let me have a look at the poll. We've got 1,500 votes are in. Big up, everyone. 83% of you are saying yes. You think that Mbeumo flies with the team to USA on Tuesday. And I hope you're right. Because you imagine... who am I kidding? Of course they are. That will make Mbeumo and Cunha our 2 biggest signings this summer. Past this point, I think it kind of changes according to In fact, I'll do this as a poll now next, right? Because I think this is a really good question. And I know there's a split opinion on this one. 1,700 votes, by the way. 83% of you think he's going to be on the plane. What's your next priority position? What's your next priority after Mbeumo? I'm not going to say names, all right? I'm just going to say positions. Because I think you got goalkeeper, striker, central midfielder. Where else would you put one? Wingback? I'll go for a wingback. They're like your 4 options. Which one are you going for as a priority after Mbeumo? Because for a lot of people, it would be goalkeeper, and that was before Onana got injured. But for a lot of people, still, you're saying striker. Now, I'm not in that camp. Because I think with Mbeumo and with Cunha, you've brought in goal scorers. That's the main reason they've been brought into this team. All right? Sure, we still need a striker, but you've mitigated some of your goal scoring problems by spreading your goals across the team. I don't think you've solved anything to do with the goalkeeper situation. I don't think you've solved anything to do with the central midfield situation. You might say that dropping Bruno deeper on a more permanent basis gives you a bit more understanding of what you need, but I think you need another player in that. Maybe Kobbie Mainoo is going to be that guy this season. Maybe that's everything he's training towards, and we're going to see a new version of Kobbie that really is kind of the Kobbie that played for England and the Kobbie that made his debut against Everton. Let me see what you're saying. Dean, you think we're going for a goalkeeper? Rios or Hackney, says Toby. You're talking about midfield. Goalkeeper, says John. 100% central midfield. Got to be a central midfielder. Highlander Monk. Nice image. Central midfielder and a goalkeeper. Let's see what the poll's saying. 900 votes are in. Quite tight, actually. 36% are saying goalkeeper. 29% are saying striker. 33% are saying central midfielder. That's really, really close. Kind of shows you how split the fan base is in terms of what's next. I mean, it's kind of I suppose a little bit of a disingenuous poll because you know what's next is bloody selling, the bomb squad? I saw them called The Five earlier. What are the names they're coming up for just players United want to sell? It's not bloody boy band, lads. That's next. After Mbeumo, it is sell to buy. And I wonder whether the money we're getting in from Ilanga, Alvaro, and Maxi Oyedele, I wonder whether that's counting towards. What do you think? Do you think that's counting towards a potential new signing that we can make after Mbeumo? Or do you think that money's getting counted towards Mbeumo? I don't know. Jay's talking about hamstring injuries are very niggling and affect performances. We need a new goalkeeper badly. Mate, my hamstring. Oh, she tight. Ravi saying Bruno, Mainoo, Sekikone, Ugarte are 4 players for 2 positions. I'm happy with that depth. I disagree, man. First of all, Sekikone's played, 2-3 times for the under-21s? So you can't really include him in any of these conversations yet. Ugarte is great out of possession, but limited in possession. Has a purpose, sure. Bruno, you know what he is, and you know how good he is, but he needs the right partner. And Mainoo, there's big question marks around Mainoo, man. More to the point of, where and how do you fit him in on a more permanent basis? Because I keep saying last season, Mainoo's should be playing further forward, but now I'm thinking, actually, Mainoo's going to be playing deeper. Definitely goalkeeper next, says Leslie. I don't know. But can I ask you in the chat, right, as well? I'll ask this next question. I know that there's going to be frustration and annoyance that it's the 17th of July until this bid for 70 mil has gone in, which is what they want. But how annoyed are you? He is going to be in before pre-season. It's not as if we've won. It's not as if we've lost the first 2 games of the season like Brighton and Brentford, and now all of a sudden we're spending 150 mil. He will be on the plane, fingers crossed, for the pre-season. So I am frustrated, but it still feels like it's done in time, if you know what I mean. Swap Sancho for Douglas Luiz. Well, I've already spoken about that, man. I think that'll be a good one. Walk away, says Gus. Move on to another target. Well, don't need to walk away. Thomas, you're saying not annoyed at all? I don't know. Someone down there saying, is this bit reactionary to the pressure from other clubs? Yeah, sure, that's a conversation we just had there. I don't know. Akash saying, won't surprise me if Mbeumo is the last incoming. I I suppose it wouldn't surprise me for the fact that I know United are struggling so much to sell their players. Therefore, it wouldn't surprise me if United didn't have the money to get more players. But United need more. That is for sure. Straight out of Shire. I don't know why I did that in that accent. Just felt appropriate. Gifted 10 memberships. Salute. Thank you very much, dude. The community is coming up strong here. What else are you saying down here? We need two more positions to sign for a striker and a goalkeeper to get top 4. Don't think we're getting top 4 this year. Top 6 is definitely the aim, and that's an ambitious aim. Right, we're 15th, and we're seeing how much everyone else around us is strengthening. But United, let me pull a photo up of this, right? That's the one. That's our graphic as well. Go on, the boys. Top quality graphics from a top quality institution. Yeah. Look at that. 35 goals and 14 assists from those two. Someone down there saying top 6 is not ambitious. I think it is. I think maybe ambitious is the wrong word, but top 6 is the aim. Where we are now is 15th. If Project 150 is this 3-year plan that we're on, okay, some of you don't believe in it, but that's clearly what's being sold to the players. If we are 15th now, and in 3 years we need to get there, then going from 15th to 6th in year 1, going from 6th to probably really just like, I don't know, you want to be pushing on the top 3 in year 2, and in the final year, that's where you go from being 3rd to challenging upwards. Of course, 6th is bloody ambitious when you finish 15th, people. Of course it is. Like, I wish I wasn't laughing about it, but this is Man United we're talking about here. I do really like the fact that we're signing some Premier League quality. I really do. And if you look at, you don't even have to look at who finished in the top 6 last year, but what everyone's doing in the summer so far. Let's not speak about Liverpool. They're so far gone that there's no point now in that conversation. City will not be City that they were last year. It just won't happen. All right. Spurs won't be like Spurs last year either. I think Thomas Frank's an excellent appointment for them. And then you've got Newcastle. You've got, I think, I'd kind of be surprised if Villa didn't fall off a little bit this year. I don't know if you agree with me there. I'll do my predictions, which will be catastrophically wrong. But I just feel like there might be a little bit of a dip from Villa this year. Newcastle will just kind of continue to grow quietly. Not with Ekatike, though. What else is saying down here? Just get rid of the deadwood. I mean, I wish it was that easy, man. I wish it was that easy. But these two here is something to shout about. It's something to be excited about. Joel down there saying top 6 isn't enough. It's like, dude, what do you want then? If top 6 isn't enough for you next year, do you really have that opinion, honestly? Because if you have that opinion, like, boy, like, you are going to be disappointed next season. You are going to be disappointed. Do you remember where we were? Don't remember who we are and what we used to be. That's a faded memory. There are a generation of kids now growing up. I feel sorry for them, man, who do not know really who Manchester United are. Let me do my maths here quickly. There are 12-year-olds who have never seen Manchester United lift the Premier League. Ugh. That's grim. So it's a long old journey back. I don't need to go into the ins and outs of that. We're just speaking about one transfer here. Alex is saying we need Champions League football. I'm guessing Champions League. Was it top 4 next year? Would it go top 5 again? It was top 5 this year, wasn't it? I think so. In an ideal world, you'd be aiming for Champions League football. And the money that would bring and the prestige that will bring. And when you think about that, actually, if you're really going to be pushing for the league in your 3rd season, you're very unlikely to be able to miss out on the Champions League and then have that 2nd year in the Europa, and then in the 3rd year, which is your 1st year back in the Champions League, to then go and win the Premier League as well. It would kind of be hard, that. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. I love United more than my local club. So what's your local club, Arno? A team wearing blue will win the Premier League. Well, our away kit's a bit purple. Does that count? Don't know. Top 8 would be an achievement, says Alex. I'm not sure I'll go top 8 being an achievement. But it wouldn't be a surprise. Top 6, I think, is as high as we can aim, right? Metacat going, our first 5 games will determine the season. Well, that's exactly why. And this is good. Right? That game against Arsenal, of course it's Arsenal first game of the season, by the way. That game against Arsenal, they're going to have, obviously, Gyökeres. Of course, Gyökeres is making his Arsenal debut at Old Trafford. Yeah, of course he is. Gyökeres, Subimendi. Who else have they signed? Norgard. Don't know whether he's going to start or not. They've done well. They've had Mosquera as well. Not sure he's going to start ahead of Saliba and Gabriel. Probably won't. They've had a good summer. United starting strong. Our first 5 games, who is it? We've got, is it City away? We've got Arsenal at home. Chelsea in there? It's a tough opener. And I am looking forward to watching pre-season. I always say, pre-season, don't give a toss. Don't care anyway. As soon as I see United lining up again, I'm like, okay, well, I'm back in. Now, here we go again. Here we go. Oh, shit. Here we go again. The preseason is all about fitness and patterns, etc. And that's kind of what I'm going to be looking out for, seeing if there's a little bit of a tweak maybe in the build-up. Is that midfielder still going up into midfield, or is something changing? Don't quite know. For anybody who's just tuning in, welcome aboard. I'll give you the top-level news. I'll read through a few more of your comments, and we'll wrap this one up. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. So the 70 mil bid has gone in, all right? What's being written down here? Right, okay, this is a good one, I think. How do you spell his name? Because that guy writes for the... Thank you very much, Gamer, for sharing that. This is the 3rd bid that's gone in, by the way. Right. This guy, Sam Tabatu. I don't know how to say his name. I'm going with Tabatu. He's saying the offer is expected to be accepted. And that will come from the Brentford side. I mean, I firmly think it's going to be accepted. All right. 70 mil. Why do I call Sancho Melty? Well, join in the live shows if you want a bit of that. Can't be asked speaking about that arsehole now. I'm speaking about good things here. I don't want to waste my time speaking about that. 70 mil is what Brentford have always wanted. Is this United caving in? Well, yeah. United are now giving them what they've asked for. United have gone there with 55, have rejected. 62.5, rejected. Nah, we're sitting firm. Not paying any more than that. I don't know. Vissa might be going new. Okay, right. 70 mil. There you go. I don't think we've overpaid. I just think we overplayed our hand. And we thought we had more leverage. Just not the way the market worked. All right. All the stuff that happened indirectly affected it. We actually lost leverage rather than gaining leverage. But 70 mil, getting him in before the preseason even starts, the preseason tour, that is. Big ticks. Right? Big ticks. As frustrating as it has been these... What was it? Damn. I think it's 6 weeks now since he said that he wanted to join. Imagine being him. He must be frustrated as hell. Go down there to see the results of the poll. 3,200 of you voting. Come on. 36% of you are saying a goalkeeper should be next. 32% are saying a striker. 30% are saying a central midfielder. It's really toit. Toit like a toiger. I'm not surprised. That kind of goes to show you how difficult it is for United moving forward next. But at the very, very least, this summer, it looks like United are signing 2 players who have scored 35 goals and got 14 assists between them last season in the Premier League. You've got Cunha, who was a leader at Wolves. And Mbeumo, who stepped up to become the leader at Brentford after Ivan Toney left. 2 Premier League experienced, quality proven players that are basically going into the next 2 to 3 years, really, of their primes. These are the sorts of signings that if you balance that with signing younger players, and maybe that's what United are going to do next. All right. We brought in the experience and the quality. Now we can go for the players who are down there towards, I don't know, 15, 20, 25 million and making those signings because you can balance it with the experience and the quality you've got. If United had just gone in and just signed youth everywhere, it wouldn't have worked. If United had gone in and tried to sign just these level of players everywhere, we wouldn't have had the finances for it. It's about the blend. I'm frustrated it took this long. I felt sorry for Ruben Amorim. United haven't managed to get away from this United tax concept with this transfer deal, and that's going to have to be something they deal with the next one. But given those two situations of just carry on with what's going on or just sign him, I wanted to get it done, and United have got it done. Now let's see what you're saying down here in the chat. How you doing, Graham? You're saying number 9 should be a priority still. It's ludicrous that Højlund could still be the senior centre-forward come September. I agree that we need a striker. I just don't agree that the striker's the priority now that we've got these two lads in here who will be scoring goals. I think they're going to mitigate some of the problems that we had last season. Højlund, there'll be less responsibility being shouldered by him to be the goal threat. Now that you've got two attacking midfielders who really are going to be cutting in central and shooting a lot. Well, I still do think we need a striker. What else is he saying down here? DV saying, if Brentford keep acting up, we should walk away, let them get relegated next season, and we get them for free. Who would now be our realistic striker target? Okay, I'll ask you down there in the chat. If you're interested enough, don't throw big names at me like, I don't know, Osimhen. We're not going to sign Osimhen. I think realistically, if we're going to make a striker signing, you're going to have to go probably in the 20, I'd even say 40 mil is a bit of a push. Call it 20 to 40 mils just because it's easy. What strikers do you think fall inside that category that might be realistic for United? But I do think even 40 mils pushing it. So maybe even Watkins would be pushing it at 40. Mateta, I think, is too much. I think that, what's faces? Palace, I think they'll dig their heels in hard. In the same way that Brentford have done it with Mbeumo. They'll do it hard. Someone down there saying Sesko. No point. We know the price of Sesko. That's why Arsenal walked away. Isn't it like 90 mil for Sesko? Mateta, Samu from Porto, Calvert-Lewin. Just rubbing my mouth. Thank you very much. Vlahovic. Vlahovic just... I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair. I see Vlahovic being... You know how when Xerxes came in and he just looked heavy? Towards the end of the season, it looked like Xerxes sort of understood the added level of agility you'd need in the Premier League. I think the exact same thing would happen with Vlahovic. Cortland, it's the first time you're tuning in live. Welcome aboard, sir. Johan, is it Georgia Mikhaudzi? Is that the one that played for Leon? The Georgian. Man, he was good. Remember him? Was it him at the Euros? Man, he was awesome. Moise Keane? Not really too sure. Isaac? Well, that was a waste of a comment. Danny Welbeck. Well, we spoke about Danny Welbeck last season. Evan Ferguson looks like he's going to be going to Roma, I think. Tony. Ivan Tony. Bring the whole Brentford gang back together. Why not? That's João Felix as a number 9. I mean, this Nico Jackson stuff, right? I really hope that's just agent-driven. I think. I feel that Nicholas Jackson would probably be a better signing than we all think he would be, but it doesn't mean that I'd want to sign him, if that makes any sense. I think we could probably do worse than signing Nicholas Jackson, but it doesn't mean I actually want to sign him. All right. PS can't reply to community, not a subscriber. Yeah. Sorry about that. Mitrovic loan. Nope, threw up in my mouth again. Jonathan tuning in from Gibraltar. Come on, boys. Right, so where am I going next? So we've got the third bid going in. So we need the here we go. So where should I go? Should I go and get a haircut? Where should I go? Dublin for a weekend? We need to get some deals done, really. So I don't know what I'm doing here. Alex, I'll update the whiteboard as and when, well, the bid gets accepted, but I'll update it properly. I can't really do that mid-show. It's too hot in here. That's why it's hot. Bloody fan's not on. I'm sweating my goddamn balls off. Not actually. Why not Isaac? Well, I'll tell you 100. I'll give you 120 million reasons why not Isaac. You can figure that one out yourself. Victor Boniface, Ramos on loan. Ramos on loan, honestly, is not a bad shout. Really not a bad shout, Gonzalo Ramos on loan. I'd much rather be having a conversation about him than I would be quite a few strikers mentioned down here. But look, I'm going to wrap this one up for today, even though we could probably speak all day, really. Let's see if any other news has come out on this. Anything else being said on this yet? Fabrizio, if you want to know what Fabrizio's had to say on it, he's just saying exactly what... He's just kind of reiterating what David Ornstein said. In fact, he's just literally mentioning his name. United remain confident. Proposal now up to 70 mil. Talks remain underway. Brentford keep working on Amari Hutchinson as a replacement. So Mbeumo, I imagine, what is it now? Thursday? We fly out on Tuesday. Can someone let me know in the comments here? Last question. If you sign a player who's already playing in the Premier League, do they need to sign a work permit still? Or do you already have that work permit because they've already been playing in the Premier League? Is it only for those players who are signed from abroad? I don't actually know the answer to that one. But realistically, you want to give yourself 48 hours, really, to get him registered, get the promos done, etc., etc. So kind of you want the here we go by Saturday? I think by Saturday, there'd be time. So 48 hours. That's what United have got. I never watched 24. Anyone ever watched 24? Never got into it. Don't know. It's nice to see. No, you already have it. You need a work permit for every job. No, he's got it. It's nice to see that the chat knows exactly knows the answer too. By the sound of it, it might be a new permit. I'll have a quick look. But thank you all for tuning in. That was a hell of a fun show. I enjoyed that. I think you did. Yeah, Jack Bauer, baby. I never watched it. And you know what I'm really happy I never watched was Lost. Because I would have been so pissed if I got to the end of Lost. And Walking Dead. I gave up after one season of Walking Dead. I was like, well, I know what's going to happen next season. Oh, zombies. Yeah, great. JVL saying, tuning in from Costa Rica. Hope we get a striker and a goalkeeper next. And Chris is saying, get in, buddy. Just got Wi-Fi on a stag do in Valencia. Get back on that stag do, man. Valencia. What's a good beer in Valencia? You get like nice, you could probably get a really crisp Estrella out there. Enjoy yourself, Chris. Appreciate the comment there and the fact that you're tuning in from a stag. Must be a crap stag. Right. I'm going to wrap this one up. Fingers crossed I'll be here later on for Here We Go. Now I've got to go and figure out what to do with my physio. Take it easy, everyone.